one of your linchpin descriptives is evolution. So tell me about the evolution of Dennis O'Brien as an artist.
Well, I think what I'm relating that to is um, in my youth, drawing, painting on a two-dimensional surface, trying to achieve a three-dimensional look with objects, planes, boats, landscape, still life, not so much the abstract pieces. And I thought I did pretty good achieving the look. About 10 years ago, I took an art welding class and started working on those with some technical instruction from the teacher, but not on the composition. Uh, and my first few pieces of metal artwork were flat. They only looked good in one direction. So I learned to start turning my pieces and to where it has a visual 360 degrees. By the time, after 2 or 3 years of welding, I did achieve that. And then that class phased out, and I took up clay art class, and different medium, different feel, very sensual, wet clay. And I was working on a turntable, not a wheel like you would throw a bowl or a plate, but a turntable where you could turn your piece 360 degrees. And so I achieved more of the turning of the object that was being sculpted than I did with the welding. Heavier objects, but it wasn't on a turntable. The clay was smaller, tabletop, and so I achieved a 360 degree view of a clay art piece. And all along, I was still painting and drawing. What I felt like was that the evolution through welding and then sculpting with clay in that 360 degrees gave my paintings more body. And that's how I see some of my evolution in my creativity. It feels good. A better image, and maybe that's what I always wanted to achieve anyway, was a better image than what I did last time. I think over the years my skills have improved. One, because of persistence, varieties of mediums, and looking at things differently than I did in the beginning. On this piece, and I don't know if it shows from the camera view, it's called Inner Self. And I guess in some of my art, or a lot of my art, I have to start looking at myself in my pieces, whether it's me literally in the piece, or a friend, or a model, or an object. So again, another part of the evolution is not only looking at the image that I'm creating, but the image of myself.
Tell me what that's like to work between such wildly different mediums.
In the steel, part of the process was we had to go to the scrapyard and buy metal. And they had the appliance section, they had the vehicle section, and they had the remnants from metal fabrication shops, which a lot of times were geometrical shapes, but also pieces that had been run over by a big giant crane and just had an interesting twist to it. I never really accomplished the human element in the welding process, more the abstract objects. It was when I went to the clay, and yes, it's very sensual to put your fingers in wet clay and push and mold it. Totally different from the welding process. But I did notice most of my clay creations had more of a human element than an abstract element. I think the canvases have sold more, but that's really because of numbers. I've done more of those over a 45 year art career than I have welded steel or clay or even wood objects. So, and I would say my Caddo pieces probably have sold the best because that's a regional treasure. And so those have probably sold the best of all my canvas work.
So we discussed evolution in a retroactive way. When you look ahead, can you use your powers of projection and prophecy to imagine where your evolution is going?
No. No, I can't. Because sometimes I think I'm going here and I end up going there. It could be like a happy mistake, a happy accident. So I don't do a lot of, I'll think about projecting and I'll start on the journey, but then sometimes the journey changes.